Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Desmond Z, if this is the first time you've ever seen me. So, I'm here to give you a wrap-up of everything that I read in June, which is actually not a lot by what I normally do. I don't know. I feel like I was coming and going in June, and it don't look like it's getting no better no time soon. I just want to read. I just want to read. I just want to sit down and read. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. But it don't seem to be happening. It don't seem to be happening. But I read like 8 books in June, so let's just get right into it and let's talk about them. Starting with Homebodies. Homebodies was written by Tembe Denton Hurst. Where's the author's name? Oh, look, I remembered. I remembered. My God. So this book is about Mickey Hayward, who is our main character, and she works for a cosmetic company, I think. What does this woman do? She does something. I think she works for a magazine writing about beauty and cosmetics and stuff like that. Yeah. Exactly. She doesn't work directly with. Okay. Anyway, a gay black woman working in media in this predominantly white industry and just trying to find her way. And then she gets fired. And so her life is just sent into disarray. That sounds like that's just right up my alley, right? Right up my alley. Right up my alley. The problem was the focus of this book, it was on the quiet part of Mickey's life. The quiet part, the somber, I just can't seem to get it together, contemplative part. And that is really not for me. I think at the right time, like, cause I've read a few novels like that where I'm like, oh, this really surprised me. I can't believe I actually really enjoyed this when not a lot actually happened. This time it didn't do it for me because we don't get to see much of Mickey's career before she's fired. We kind of just jump right into, she's working a little bit, then bam, girl, you out of here. Chopping block. Unemployment line. Struggling. Nothing left. That's where we end up at, right? And then afterwards, it's just her running back home, sitting in her grandma's house, hiding from her daddy, like, because her mom is not a part of her life, but she goes back home and like her dad has always talked about her success, her career, graduating from college and, moving to the big city and having a big girl job and being successful, and she feels like she can't go home to him because he's going to be disappointed because that's the only part of her that he loves. That's what she feels like. And so she's at her grandparents' house with her grandma and her granddad, and it's like, no, she's doing nothing. She's just wallowing in self-pity, catching up with some old friends and an old love interest who should have been running from her. Should have been running because she was dirty, low down, nasty, no good. That's the bulk of this book, and it's not bad. Like, I won't say it's bad. The writer definitely is talented, and the book is not bad. It's for people who really like quiet, somber, like, just, I don't know, I wanted more. Then at the end, there's no big like ta-da, like no razzmatazz, no, oh my gosh, she getting justice or she getting revenge or nothing like that. It kind of, is that a spoiler? I don't think that's a spoiler. That's just, yeah, because that's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. It just know this book is quiet from beginning to end. That's not a spoiler. I'm just letting you know. I'm just here to let you know, okay? But I wanted us to jump back. I thought eventually we would jump back into something and we would really get going. But we don't. I give this book like a 3.5. I still think this is a good book. It's just not a good book for me. I feel like this is definitely for people who like more quiet novels and where it's not a lot happening. Crimes of Passion, I talked about this in a previous video. I did read this in June. It's a novella about 2 podcasters who talk about true crime, but they also discuss the negative side of like the whole true crime like genre, if you will, about how people treat these victims and their families and the people who love them as just like pure entertainment, and then somebody else who comes in on a more serious side. I thought this was hilarious from beginning to end. I gave it 5 stars. I would really, really, really love if they turned this into a full novel. Like just keep writing. Pick the pen back up. It's your story. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Jack Harbin, you can do whatever you want to do. Turn it into a full novel. Need that, okay? Memorial. This is actually a book. I bought this book well over a year ago now at this point, I do believe. And I have mentioned this book quite a few times, more so last year. If you watched it in my previous videos, I talked about how I kept struggling to finish this book. I could not get past like the first or second chapter. And I was just like, you know what, at some point I gave up. I was done with it. But then I saw it on my shelf, and I was like, you know what, I want to try again. I want to try again. And now I can say I read it. It matches my outfit. Hold on. No, look at that. Fashion. This book is about, so you got Benson. He's a black man. He's a teacher living in Houston. He got a boyfriend named Mike who's Asian, and he's a chef, a cook, or something. Mike's daddy is dying, right? His mom comes to town, and like, your daddy is sick, because she lives back home in Japan, right? She's like, your daddy's sick. He dying. You might want to go see about him before he get up out of here. Mike's like, oh, I'm finna go. He leaves his mama there with Benson. They don't even know each other. They just met. So you left your mama and your man together to go see about your daddy who you ain't seen in years. You ain't leaving this woman with me. You ain't leaving this woman in my house. I'm sure you love her down, but this is weird. This is awkward. What makes you think, why she can't go back with you? Why y'all can't go together? I'm confused. If that's where she from, if that's where she live, that's where her home is, why would she stay here if you ain't here? That don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me. And I'm sure in the book, she said why she stayed. I just don't remember because I didn't enjoy this book. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I did not enjoy this book. So me trying to read it over and over again and not being able to get past the first and second chapter last year, it tracks because I did not enjoy this book. Y'all know it's rare that I say a book is bad. I'm always upfront to let you know you may enjoy this. You may enjoy this, but I personally just did not. So the first half of this novel we spend with Benson, and he's going to his job, where dealing with the kids and dealing with this woman being in his house who he don't know, and it's awkward. And she also does not speak, and she doesn't speak English as well. So yes she does. No. Yeah. She does speak English, but they just don't talk. They have very little to say to each other. I think. I can't fully remember. It's either she does not speak English, or she speaks very little, or she does speak English and they just don't really communicate at all. I can't remember. Oh my God, I can't remember. But any hoosers. Yeah. The first half of this novel, and then he maybe also, I mentioned, like, when I read the synopsis, like, him and Mike aren't really doing so well as far as like in their relationship romantically. They're just not seeing eye to eye. It's just abuse in the relationship. There is verbal abuse, physical abuse. Like, they should have been broke up. That's what. It's all coming back to me now. This book is about two people that should have broke up. Why is there lint just floating around? This book is about two people that should have been broke up. Should have been. These people should not be together. They should not be together. They argue, they fuss, they fight. Both of them is practically interested in other people and about to get in the bed, about to lay it down, bust it open with other people. They should not be together. That's what this book is about. Two people that should have broke up a long ass time ago, but they refused to. First of all, also at the end of the first chapter, the character Mike makes a joke and says the N-word. I don't even know why that was even a thing. And like the character Benson does never like corrects him or says anything to him. It just kind of ends. He kind of goes, "Hey," and then the chapter ends, and then we never talk about it again. I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know what the point of that was, Brian Washington. I don't know what the point of that was. I don't know what the point of that was. But if this ain't you, don't say it. Don't say it. End of discussion. End of discussion. And I don't know if that was supposed to bring up some topic of people being in interracial relationships and they feel like they can say it. What's supposed to, I don't know what that was supposed to be about. But that's a whole nother reason they shouldn't have been together in the first place. I don't understand. I don't understand. So help me. And they throwing hands at each other. Anybody, if you gotta put your hands on me, you want it to be together. If you gotta put your hands on me, we don't need to be together. We don't need to be together. We don't need to be together. If you gotta put your hands on me, if I gotta put my hands, it just no. So that's what this book is about. That's what it's about. And it's also just it's dry. It's the sort of like dry humor, dry delivery type of thing. That's what it is. And it just did not work for me. And then the second half, we go to Osaka and we follow Mike, and it kind of picked up a bit, but it was just, it didn't work. It didn't work. I gave this book like 2 stars. It's the delivery of it all. Like, there is a good story in there. It's just, I feel like the execution just wasn't my style. It didn't work for me. And I've said it before, I've been having a lot of trouble lately with literary fiction. I just cannot come across just a really good book that just really knocks it out of the park for me within these last, like, I would say a month or so, maybe even a little longer than that. The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley. I previously read this author's other book called The Guncle last year, and I really enjoyed, I don't really, but I did enjoy that book more than I anticipated I would going into it. We have a group of college friends who are in like their 50s, like late 40s, early 50s, and when they were in college, one of their friends died and they were only like right before graduation, so like 21, 22. One of the group members died, and it kind of shook, all that they knew, all, their lives. So now what they do is they have this thing where they have real life funerals, and they promise whenever one of the members call, you only get one, you're able to call the group and be like, I want to cash mine in. I can't remember now because, like, I'm telling you, June was, like, I won't keep saying it, but, like, I just feel like I didn't know my head from my ass in June, and it was just, like, my God. So I don't even remember what part of the month that I actually read this. So basically what we do is we go through this book, and we're jumping through time. We might be in 2016, we might be in 2005, we might be in 2019, 2023, and we're jumping through time at each group member's funeral when they needed them most. And that's basically what we do. Somebody's marriage is falling apart, somebody's dying, somebody's gonna go to jail, and that's what we do. Overall, I gave it like 3. I think I gave it like 3 stars. There were some moments that I laughed. This book, now listen to me. This book is very middle-aged white gay male. That's what this book is. And that's not a bad thing. Hold on, hold your horses. That's not a bad thing. I enjoyed Will and Grace. That's what this book really is. And I knew that going in, that this author's humor is very, very Will and Grace type. And with The Guncle, that worked for me. It worked. I feel like the author balanced that, because I'm all for a joke that's not my generation before or after, That's what this book was. It was like multiple episodes or a long movie of Will and Grace. And it was more so the so-so episodes instead of like the best episodes where you really laughed. That's what it was. That's the best way to describe this book. So I don't think this was a bad book. I just think it would probably better fit somebody else. All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. I talked about this in the same video that I talked about Crimes of Passion. 4.5 stars. Amazing. Great. Outstanding. Superb. It's just excellence. Excellence is what S.A. Cosby is. Time and time again, he's proven. It's excellent. Now it's not 5 stars, like I said last time. Razor Blade Sears is still top tier. I'm just gonna do a quick little thing because I already talked about it before. Titus Crown, he is the first black sheriff in his town, in his county of Virginia. He's a former FBI agent, and it starts off with a school shooting where this man, you know, attacks a teacher. The teacher dies, and now they're looking for a serial killer who may be connected to the both of them. And so Titus is trying to solve this case while also fighting against the people who don't fully believe in him. There's racial tension in the town, and it's just a whole bunch of traumatic mess, and you get action, you get drama. I would highly recommend this book. I would also highly recommend the audio book because that's why I was talking about this book when I first mentioned it. The same narrator has narrated all of S.A. Cosby's book, and he does an amazing job. Read and listen to it at the same time. It's good. The Daydreams. The Daydreams by Laura Hankin. Hanky. This book is about a group of people who were on a TV show in their teenage years in the early 2000s. And now they're like 30, early 30s. And they're coming back for a reunion. I actually really enjoyed this book more than I thought I would. I think I gave it like 4 stars. I don't remember much from it, but I do know that I enjoyed most of it. Now I'm trying to see, I'm wondering if it's gonna click for me now. Did I write notes for this one? I don't think I did. I don't even know what to say about this book. I don't remember much about it. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I do know that I gave it like 4 stars. I did enjoy it. Let me read something. Okay, Kat is like the girl who did. Oh, okay. I got it. Kat is like the girl who is really self-loathing, has low self-esteem, doesn't believe in herself. Oh my God, I'm not pretty enough. Like, she's very, very much Marsha. No, not Marsha. She's very much Jan. It's all Marsha, and I'm not pretty. That's the type of person she is. Okay, that's who she is. Like, just really down on her look. Oh my God, I can't believe my life. Even though I'm a lawyer, but I was just never the pretty popular girl. And why didn't anybody like me? That's who she is. I mean, not to say that those feelings aren't valid, because people can truly feel like that, and they can feel like they've been put down by society, and they can feel like everyone around them is putting them down, and they just don't fit in. So, not to say that that's not valid, okay? But then we have Liana, our token black girl, who, you know, has more talent, can sing, can act better, but for some reason, the powers that be just don't want to see her shine. Think Mercedes from Glee. Obviously has the best voice, but they just don't want to give her a solo, don't want to give her the lead, don't want to let her, you know, do what she does. And also, I know Amber Riley's real name. Amazing, top tier, but I'm talking about the character, okay? Don't get it twisted. Make sure you call Amber Riley by her name. But that's who, what's that character's name, right? It was Liana, right? Yeah, that's the character that Liana was. You know, token black girl who obviously is a lot more talented than the lead girl, but because she black, they push her to the side, to the back, or whatever, just to give, you know, the basic girl the stardom. She grows up, she marries a baseball player, yeah, and now she's just like, you know, social media, selling flat tummy tea, and married a rich man, and, you know, just floating by like that. And then we have, what's that girl's name? Summer. Yeah, Summer is like, she was like the main girl, the popular girl on the show, and the pretty one or whatever. She's pretty much a train wreck now. Her life is a mess. Down in the dumps, low down, okay? And she's been to rehab. She ain't had an acting job since she lived at home with her mama, I think. No, I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah. Old girl just down on her luck. She just can't seem to get it together. And then you have Noah, the golden boy, who pretty much was like the Justin Timberlake out of the Janet and Justin Super Bowl situation, where she got all the heat and he got out unscathed and went on to be blameless in the media. Now Noah is just like the only one that's successful. He has a successful career in acting, this and that. You know, he's just a big A-list star. And that's how it goes. And then they all come back together and memories come up, things are rehashed, things fall apart, and we find out what actually happened on the that live season finale of the show, which got the show canceled. And yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed the book overall. It was like a 4-star read for me. It was I laughed a little bit, and yeah, I think for the moment it was good. I do think, like I always say it's about the moment. Sometimes it's not always the book. I think at any other time, no disrespect to the author, not to say that her book is not good, and not to diminish the fact that I enjoyed this, not to say, oh, I enjoyed it, but I don't want anybody to know I enjoyed it. I do think this book just came at the right time, and I needed something like it, and that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did. I know that because I know me. And yeah, that's it. The Town of Babylon. The Town of Babylon. This book pissed me off. This book pissed me the fuck off. And I will not lie about it. I will not lie. I cannot tell a lie. This book is about a man who gets a notice, and I think it's his mom calls him and tells him, hey, look, I got this letter in the mail. Your 20-year reunion is coming up. I think you should go. Blase, blase, blase. So he ends up going to his 20-year high school reunion, and back in his hometown, where he runs into old friends, runs into his first love, and just starts, reliving his past. That's what's going down. Him and his man are not, his husband are not on the best of terms. So he's like, you know what? Might as well. Might as the fuck well, is what he says basically. That's what the synopsis says about this book. That's what the synopsis says. That's a lie. I was lied to. I was bamboozled. I was hoodwinked. Had the wool pulled over my eyes. Had the wool pulled over my eyes. It was pulled over my eyes. I could not see. I could not see. I couldn't see. This book is in fact short stories. This is a collection of short stories that are somehow connected. And at this point, if you watch my videos, you know how I feel about short stories. I do not really care for short stories. They just don't do it for me. They don't do it for me. Okay? It's very seldom that I'll come across a collection of short stories and be like, oh yeah, they really did it for me. Now, just a little one-off, like, hey, this is literally just a short story and you won't be getting anything else. Like, if you handed me something like this with maybe even less pages and was like, hey, this is a short story, I would probably enjoy that. But a collection of them at the same time, back to back, that's supposed to be somehow connected, it never really works for me. I need the full novel. I need the full story, because those characters that I actually got connected to in the first part, when they disappear for quite some time, I'm missing that. I'm missing that. Reevaluating a rocky marriage in the wake of his husband's infidelity. That don't even play a huge part in it. Like, we talk about it, we speak on it, but it's not like this main character is actually just like, oh my God, my husband cheated on me, and he's just falling apart, or there's this fierce like argument or anything like that. The way we approach it is just so flippant, and it's just like, did it really just rock his world like that? Because I can't tell from his actions, or what, people do react and grieve or whatever in different ways. So this is just a revelation I just had right there. Duh, they do. Yet and still, it's still the way it's approached. It's just like the way it's written in the synopsis makes it seem like it's just like, oh my gosh, wake up his husband's fidelity. It just rocks his world. It don't even, at this point, basically the character is like, yeah, he cheated on me, but I don't really give a fuck. At this point, I'm gonna get my lick back and we're just gonna move on. Like, okay. He reconnects with an old friend who is dealing with mental health issues. And then he reconnects with his first love, whose name, what was that man's name? Was it Paul? No, it wasn't Paul. It was Jeremy. Yeah, he reconnects with Jeremy, who he's now married with children. He's married to a woman with children. And it's just, he been through some things himself. He been on his stuff. He been in jail. And then there's also this guy they went to school with named Paul, who possibly could have committed a hate crime when they was in school, but everybody seemed to just kind of brush it under the rug. There is so much going on in this book, yet and still nothing happens. It's like a lot happens, but nothing happens, because I kept falling out of the story because we would jump to somebody else, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm stuck with these people who I don't even know. I'm like with the best friend's parents. Like, why are we talking about the best friend's parents so much? And it's not connecting to this story. It's like if you wanted to write short stories, you should have just said that. Don't put novel here. Don't put novel here when it's in fact short stories. That's what it was. These were short stories, really. I was bamboozled. I was bamboozled. And I did not care for this. I gave it 2 stars. I hit a point where I was like, oh, I'm like, hold on. It's getting better. But then it just fell flat again. And we reverted back to the true short story nature of this. So that's The Town of Babylon. Alejandro Burrell. That's it. Those are the books that I read in the month of June. It started off actually really good, reading Crimes of Passion and the Daydreams and All the Sinners Bleed. And then we just kind of went, you know? Yeah, but like I said, Homebodies, I don't think it's a bad book at all. I just think it just wasn't the book for me. And then the Celebrants was also kind of the same way. Yeah. But I hope everybody else had a happy reading month in the month of June. Be who you are for your bride. Yeah, my next video, I am going to do the next video that you will probably see from me. And I'm going to be more consistent again like I've been doing for the last year and a half. I'm going to do like, talk about the last 6 months. Like these first 6 months of reading, you know, they in the bag now. What have been some of my highs and some of my lows or whatever. Mostly I'm talking about my favorites for the first 6 months of 2023. Yeah. But as far as this video and the month of June, that's what I read. That's how it went. Let me know down in the comments. How was yours? How did June treat you? Let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.